and I understand.
That's a weird way to go from Chicago to here.
Yeah.
Not South Carolina.
You picked the right place, though.
not that
you
one.
picked the right ch.
Well, Gerald, we always like to jump in and start with a song. Whatever you'd like to play, we'd love to hear.
All right, great. I'll play a song from my new record. A song about a bad friend. It's called Just Another Broken Heart. Yeah, I've seen that face before. No one hates to see it more. All it means is you've fallen hard again. Acting like it's all brand new. No surprise should it be to you. It happens more than every now and then. 'Cause you think what you're going through will leave you forever blue. You'll be fine. It's just another broken heart. Yeah, it's so familiar now. I'm waiting for you to tell me how you went from loving arms to just a friend. Always wear that why me crown. Lord, I hate to see you down. I guess you gotta hear it once again. 'Cause you think what you're going through was custom made just for you. Well, get in line. It's just another broken heart. When you see her on the street, just fake a smile. Then take that busted heart and throw it on the pile. Cause you think what you're going through is the end of a love that's true. You'll be fine. It's just another broken heart. Yeah, get in line. You're just another broken heart. Oh.
Dowd live here on Pass the Hat. That's a great introduction to our fans out there.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody, if you think Gerald plays the guitar like a drummer, it is because Gerald is the hardest working drummer in Chicago. No lie. And he has had a storied career as a drummer that we'll drill down on a little later in the show. But Gerald, we'd like to roll back to when you were a youngster. What kind of music did they play in your house?
Oh, well, so my dad's side of the family is Irish, and my mom's side is from El Salvador. And so we got a pretty good mix of, a lot of Latin music, classical music from my mom's side, and my dad's side, a lot of folk and bluegrass. And he was actually a big country fan. And so I grew up listening to Tom T. Hall and Charlie Rich and, Roger Miller and all the great
Good stuff.
country songs. A great time, the 70s, and all that. So, yeah, we kind of ran the gamut. And then, my older siblings played us the Beatles and played us the Who. And, so we got it coming from all angles.
So were drums your first instrument, or when did music enter your life to where you were playing?
Well, piano and violin were my first instruments, but they lasted maybe a month or so. And then I said I wanted to play drums.
I want to bang on things.
Yeah, I want to make it's not loud enough. So
And your folks were supportive of that?
They were, amazingly. Yeah,
Those are some great parents. They are.
They were. They really supported it for better or worse for me. But I got my first drum at 10, and then kind of drifted in and out of it through high school when you're doing other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but yeah, then once I got into high school and later high school, then I made it kind of my main focus and started playing in bands and studying and yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about when guitar and songwriting entered your life in a minute, but I think it's probably time that we ask you, please play another song for us.
Another song, all right.
We hope you brought lots of songs because we're going to make you play for a solid hour.
I think I only have 3, but I'll make them each like 15 minutes long.
There you go.
That'll work.
King Crimsonized them. So earlier you were talking about slow and fast songs, so maybe I'll play a little bit of a slower song. This is another song from my new record called The Minister of Loneliness. I've been talking to myself for way too long now, trying hard to change the words, but I don't know how. And every time I think I'm over you and I'll get through the night, the minister of loneliness turns on the light. You tell me to get on with life, so easy to say, but a love with such a stranglehold won't just go away. And every time I think I'm over you and I'll be just alright, the minister of loneliness puts up a fight. Most days all I do is slowly review all the missed signals now so clear, when nothing ever felt so true as the love you put me through, and the lies that no one should ever hear. And every time I think I'm over you and things are looking bright, the minister of loneliness, the minister of loneliness, yeah, the minister of loneliness turns out the light.
Another great song from Gerald Dowd live here in the studio. You guys tell your friends to tune in because it's getting good.
But you can learn all about Gerald and his very interesting past, present, and future, GeraldDowd.com.
Where I learned that once, like a moron, he drummed for 13 hours straight.
Where did you read that?
This seems like a pretty good gig. I don't know if you book it or it's booked by someone else, but essentially you have like a mini festival where there's a bunch of bands that come in and play various music, and only one drummer for all of the bands.
That is correct, yeah. In 2014, I put my first full-length record out, and I got a grant from the city to make it, and so I thought for the release show I'd turn around and put some of that money back into the community.
Good job.
And so, yeah, I had this idiotic idea, which my wife still is not crazy about, to just gather a bunch of bands together and play an all-day festival. I sort of stole the idea from a good friend of mine, Mr. Scott Stevenson, who plays on my records, and he did that once for a benefit, and so I thought, oh, that's a great idea. That'd be a fun thing to do, and we played from noon till about 1 o'clock, and I think that first year, there were 16 bands. and I played with all of them. And then I, as it says on my website, I did it again in 2019, and we pared it down to 13 bands for that one.
These events called Day of the Dowd.
It's called Day of the Dowd.
And now
yes.
there have been, I guess, several of them. I think 4, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's been 3. I did one. I did the third one I did during lockdown from my house. My wife and son had left for the weekend, and so I just moved around to different rooms in my house and just played for about 6 hours and raised money for. So the first 2 were for a food bank, and then the second one was for the Southern Law Poverty Center.
I have to ask Gwen, because Kim was talking about physical therapy and physical fitness and things like that. And so I guess you have to, if you're going to do something like that, you've got to, do you anticipate this coming up? You get yourself into shape, or over the 6 or 13 hours, how do you stay fresh and not just have everything collapse?
Well, yeah. Someone who knew what they were doing would have maybe trained a little bit before they got there, but that was not the case. I stopped drinking for a couple of days. I think that helped, and then I just my wife was coming up to me and giving me water and a little bite of sandwich between sets. And the first year there was 5 minutes between sets. And so I was literally just walking from one room to the other at Fitzgerald's, which, if you don't know, Fitzgerald's is one of the great music venues in Chicago. Kim's from Oak Park.
I've performed there.
You did?
We used to. That is where Poetry Slam was born, believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah, and then it moved to the Green Mill. So I've performed at Fitzgerald's multiple times.
Oh,
it's a great place.
I love Mark. Yeah, he's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, very cool.
Mark Smith, yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so it was at Fitzgerald's, and it's kind of a campus. They've got a main nightclub, and then they have a sidebar. And so I was just walking back and forth between sets to do that and take a bite of a sandwich or a sip of Gatorade or orange juice or something.
Impressive.
Yeah. So
Are you planning to do that ever again?
maybe one more time. Maybe one more
Good
time.
call.
We'll see.
Well,
Larry
Gerald,
Duckworth, don't get any ideas.
Gerald, you ready for another one?
Sure. I'll play something. I'll play something off my first record, Home Now. Actually, I'll play the title track from Home Now. And it's called Home Now. Shot down the third baseline. The runner didn't see the sign. Head down, he ducks the tag, and the crowd roars. Hit 'em high and I'll hit 'em low. I'll follow you wherever you go. Never needed my shoulders, I had yours. Summer never lasts that long, so flip the tape and play that one last car song. Time and city air are all we've got, and all we need. So spit the water from your lung. Sure feels like fall's begun. Dock the boat and let's begin the long drive home. Home now. Once I saw you in a dream, and I don't need anyone to tell me what it means. Can you find it in your heart to come back again? 'Cause it's been so long. Go on, leave your shoes by the door. Never wanted to see anyone more. Let me be the first to welcome you home, home now. Thank you.
Gerald Dowd, live here in the studio. Gerald, you've got a wonderfully expressive voice for a drummer. And even just forget that I put the for a drummer on the end of it. Does that come naturally? Have you worked on phrasing and singing with a coach? Just learned it by osmosis? How did you come to have this great voice?
Oh, well, thank you, first of all. I have never taken proper singing lessons. Just we sang a lot when we were kids. My family was a singing family.
Yay.
And so, my older sister was a classical voice major at a conservatory, and we just sang a lot. And I think whatever this thing is, that whatever it sounds like is just from singing along to the stuff I've listened to. So, and then also I for a long, long time, and still do from time to time, have played with the great Robbie Fulks, and so I was singing behind him a lot,
really?
And so that kind of I feel like that was sort of the training ground for
Right.
for singing, trying to match his phrasing, trying to match his tone, and so I definitely picked up a lot from doing that from him.
That was your career. Drumming was your career. So if anyone hasn't looked up, where he's been, you were a drummer, and
still am, still
Yeah.
it's still my career.
But here
such as
you
it is.
are, and I see no drum in sight. You're here as a singer-songwriter. So was this a sudden change? Like you got up one day and said, "Yep, guitar is singer-songwriter for me," or was it a gradual, like, I think maybe I could incorporate this into my life?
It was a much more slow transition into it. Yeah, just about 20 years ago, I started to kind of mess around and teach myself guitar and start to try to write songs. And it was, very slow going at first. And then right around, early 2000s into 2010 is when I sort of started to take it seriously and try to actually write some stuff that, I would feel good about. And then, it's just been kind of a steady progression since then. It's gotten a little bit easier. It's gotten way more fun, and being able to go out and play shows under my own name has become more of a part of my career.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's been great.
So do you have a process? How do you write a song?
There's a whole bunch of different ways. I kind of started writing one in the car on the way over here, just because you get a line, a phrase or something will pop into your head, which it did today, and I just had my phone and I hit the voice memo and I just sort of started singing random, it's a lot of mumbo jumbo to a melody or something, and just
So you got a melody in your head and you're just trying to preserve that melody.
Right. And then and also to remember, what the phrase was that kicked it off, and maybe just throw out some words that rhyme and see if that can kind of kickstart a thought, or an idea, and yeah. So, but it can come from anywhere. I mean, it can come from just somebody saying some sort of offhand comment, and you go, "Oh, that sounds like that's an interesting phrase. I could use that," and that'll trigger something else. And yeah, so, Kirk, I mean, you can write about anything, anywhere, sometimes. So. So yeah, there's no I have no set pattern. Sometimes it's really easy, and sometimes it's on my new record I've got a song that I wrote in a day and a song that took me 6 years to write. So,
but we've been doing this for 9 years. We've had thousands of performers come through, and the bulk of them kind of describe what you're describing is the muse hits, and it hits, and you can't ignore it, or you better not ignore it, and so you write it where it goes. But we have had the occasional people who say they have a very specific process. It's at 4:30 afternoon, every afternoon, I'm going to go write a song.
Yeah.
And those people are unicorns, but it seems to work for them.
Well, yeah, you know the famous story about Nick Cave. He gets up in the morning, he puts on a suit, and he goes into his office at 9 a.m. and he writes till 5.
Right.
And that's, everybody's got their own
Whatever works.
their own thing. My dad was a writer, a pro. He wrote prose and a copywriter, and he would just go sit in his office and he would write, and sometimes nothing would come from the day, but he'd be writing. He would throw out most of it, and it was just that was a good thing to see, as an artist, as someone trying to create something. It stuck with me.
That is an important concept, I think, for all artists. Is that I may have mentioned this last week? Is there's a difference between the production and the product. The production, the process of doing it is art. The product that comes out of the end is not necessarily the art. It's your ego gets tied up in that a little bit sometimes, but the actual art is the process of doing it, and it doesn't have to be fruitful at all. You can be at the end of the day, you wad up that piece of paper and throw it away. You've still been an artist. You're still doing art.
You were creative all day long, yeah,
Right.
for sure. Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I think we should hear some more music that he created.
That I creatively created. Well, on that note, I do run at Fitzgerald's every month. I run a show called Song of the Month Club, and it's sort of a songwriter showcase, and I have a different guest each month. And the idea of the conceit of the show is that both myself and my guest, we each bring a brand new song into the show and premiere it that night.
That's nice.
And so that's been really fun. I've had a lot of great local and national talent come in to do that. And this is the last new song I wrote for that series. So I'll play a brand new song that's only been played a couple of times here. It's making its radio debut. So, and this is called Skeleton Key. No capo. Did you think you'd be better off with that mask you wear? Long questioning face and your steel-eyed stare. I'll pull it down, show yourself I'm no electric chair. Someone always lets you down. I get why you stand your ground. I can't promise much, but I can try. Turn your skeleton key, don't turn away from me. I won't be afraid of what you've kept inside. Oh, the time has come to show me where you're from. I hear the tumblers fall 1, 2, 3 around your skeleton key. Yeah, that smile across your face, it looks borrowed. So leave your hell below and your dirty deeds till tomorrow. Trust the road, you can't see where it leads until it's followed. I'll show you what you've never seen. It's not too late for what could have been. But put down your dukes for just a while. Turn your skeleton key and set those memories free of every single broken promise you've been made. Oh, the time has come to feel more than numb. I hear the tumblers fall 1, 2, 3 around your skeleton key. Turn your skeleton key. No more wait and see. You can only be a stranger for so long. Oh, the time has come to show me where you're from. I hear the tumblers fall. Hear the tumblers fall. Hear the tumblers fall. 1, 2, 3. Hey, skeleton key. Thank you.
I love that song.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Kurt.
Gerald, you talked about giving us a little insight to your songwriting process, that some songs seem to come out easily and others take a while. So on those that take a while, what do you try and force it, or do you try and cajole it along? And what sort of changes are you looking to make, or how do you know it's not ready yet?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think sometimes, at first you try to force it a little bit, and then you realize that's not the way to do it. You keep working with it. You keep tinkering with a melody, or when it comes to lyrics, I get really hyper specific, and I'll be changing lyrics for months sometimes on songs, even just something like changing but to and, or something like that. It's just something that, oh yeah, that makes more sense this way. And so yeah, it really just some songs, yeah, they sort of, I feel like some songs kind of reveal themselves a little bit more than others, I guess is the best way to put it, and sort of take your hand a little bit. I struggle with the word muse a little bit, but I do feel like there is something that's helping you along as you're trying to get through this process, and it could just be you're in a more inspired mood some days than others, and so yeah, so it really is just kind of it's obsessive for me. To write a song, it takes a lot out of me, even if it comes quickly.
Now, when you went into the studio and recorded your August 2023 release, Father's Day, those songs were written over a short period of time or the last period of years?
There were a couple that were older. There were, I've been doing this songwriter series now for 2 years, and there were 2 or 3 from that series that made the record. And then, I think, but mostly songs from within the last couple of years, and then there's a couple that had been around for a while, and then I mentioned that 6-year song. Part of that was done in 2016, and then I finished it in the summer of 22.
Now, you know a lot of musicians up there in Chicago and other places. Did you bring them in to help you with the record?
Yeah, well, I wanted to mention that. I recorded the record with one of my great friends and a fantastic musician named Steve Dawson. I'm not sure if you guys know about Steve. He had a band called Dolly Varden for a very long time, and he's been releasing records under his name now for a few years. And he's got a studio, so we did it at his studio, and Steve kind of plays everything. So the bulk of the record, the bass tracks of the record is all me and Steve. And then we brought in some guests, some local friends of mine to come in and play, Grant Ty and Robbie Gerso, and then Nora O'Connor, who is an incredible singer and songwriter in Chicago. And then and on one track I got, this was kind of amazing that I was able to do this, but got Lloyd Maines to play pedal steel on one track, which was a real thrill and an honor to have him on the record. So, but yeah, mostly it's all friends. Chicago has a really great, beautiful, cooperative music community, and so we're very lucky. If you need a good whatever player, Chicago's got them in spades. So you can. It's actually hard to choose sometimes. So, but we're lucky, yeah. And I was lucky to have everybody on my record who played on it. It was just fantastic.
So you went in as a solo songwriter, and all these great people came in. Did things happen that you didn't anticipate with the songs, or did they pretty much, you could hear all the parts in your head already, and everybody came in and it just sort of flowed nicely?
A little combination of both. I mean, I think, like I mentioned, I was kind of obsessive about the songs, and I had a very clear idea of what I wanted them to come out sounding like. But But working with Steve, who's immensely creative and just a great human being, he had ideas that, how about we do this little thing over here, and that would completely change the dynamic of the song, and then getting in a soloist to play something, doing something I would not have expected or couldn't even have verbalized to do, just because they have their own way of playing. So
it's nice you had that relationship. Some people who work with producers find that the producer is just kind of heavy-handed. We hear these things. We don't know of those people ourselves, but in this case, it was sort of collaborative and a friendship thing, and kind of letting the creative energy flow. And that sounds like it was just a really enjoyable experience.
it was great. Yeah, I can't overstate how great it was working with Steve. He's just an incredible. Everybody in Chicago knows him. He's a beloved songwriter there, and just a great musical mind, and really lovely to work with. Yeah.
Everybody, we are here on WHUP LP Hillsborough. We've reached the top of the hour. Bob, we're so fortunate to have an Hour 2 sponsor. Tell us about that.
We are. And Gerald, see that box over there to your right?
You've been a drummer, you are a singer-songwriter, and now you are a spokesmodel. So put on your spokesmodel face. There you go. Good job.
Oh, dear listener, you've made it through the first hour of Pass the Hat. But wait, there's more. It only gets better, and support for this second hour of Pass the Hat is sweetly provided by Matthew's Chocolates, 104 North Churton Street, Hillsborough, North Carolina, the finest in chocolate and chocolate accessories for all of your chocolate needs. And let's face it, we all have chocolate needs. Every guest on Pass the Hat gets a gift of chocolate from Matthew's Chocolates. We don't know what's in this magic box, but we know it is super tasty. And y'all, I was over there, and the chocolate cases are full. Go and get some.
Good, because for Mother's Day, they were like emptied out.
They sold out for Mother's Day.
I bet they did.
I'm
This
pretty
box
sure
is heavy. There's a lot of chocolate.
There's some
in here.
good chocolate in there, and I'm pretty sure Memorial Day is a chocolate holiday because all holidays are chocolate holidays. So go place your orders now, y'all.
Bob, we had, I think, mentioned that we were streaming, so let's give you, everybody, the whole rich tapestry of our media here. We are WHUPFM.org, WHUPFM.org. That's where you can hear all the wonderful dozens of fine shows here on the station. All those shows are archived for all time. Just go on the website, hit shows, scroll down. You want to find us? Scroll down about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through.
It's alphabetic.
We're past the hat, and
Pass the Hat.
we have over 1,000 shows. But in addition to that, over the last 5 years, through the leadership of Kim and Bob, we have started to do motion pictures.
That's right. We are a television station for 1 hour of the 2-hour show every Friday evening. You can always find us in anything on WHUP at WHUPFM.org. Just click the Listen Now button. And you, as Crook said, you can go down through the shows and find all of the audio archives for every show we've ever done. But also, for the past few years, we've been doing a television broadcast, if you will, live streaming on all of your favorite live streaming services. And your favorite live streaming services are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find us at Whoop Pass the Hat, at WHUP Pass the Hat on all of those services. YouTube and Facebook keeps an archive of every live stream we've done, so you can find a rich history of archives there. Twitch keeps it only for 2 weeks, so it's great for watching now, and maybe if you missed last week's show, it's there, but they don't keep them forever. But all of those fantastic places, you can see the high-def audio married with the broadcast high-def video. I did that backwards. You can see the high-def video married with the broadcast high-def audio. It's a great show, sounds good, looks good, and it's doing just that with Gerald Dowd here live right now, who I think is getting ready to play us another song.
You could tell, couldn't you?
Yep, that
All right.
looked like an anticipatory glance.
No, I'm just sitting back and listening to the
Spiel.
great spiel. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So we're top of the hour. What's an appropriate top of the hour?
You got any
Song.
songs about cicadas?
I don't. Are they showing up here already?
What do you mean already?
For about
We're,
3
we're down
been here-
south, so
I know.
Yeah.
we're early. But also, we have the 13 years. Up there, you have the 17 years.
We got the 17 year, yeah. And it's the combination of the.
Yeah, you're right
Of
in
the
the
two
area where the
roots.
13s and 17s are overlapping.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
If
So
it's
there's-
anything like here, because we have that as well, you will not be able to hear yourself think.
Oh yeah.
I live next to a state park, and my daughter and I were outside. We could not hear one another speak to one another. It's trillions, and in Chicago, you have not seen that many cicadas in 277 years.
That's right.
Who measured that, by the way? Like Farmer Amos, oh my God, this is loud. Who knows?
I got a cousin who's a sound designer in New York. He's coming out specifically to record when they come up.
Excellent.
Just so he can use that for.
It's worthy of recording.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I can't even imagine what it's going to sound like. Well, I don't have any songs about cicadas, unfortunately, but here's a song about a pest. I hate to say I like to make you cry, but I do. Yeah, I do. It's sad but true. I could be wrong, but I think you like it too. Makes it easier to say we're through. I've never seen someone hold on to something that's so long gone. Seems this beast might never die. But with your eyes getting wetter, yeah, you never look better. Well, maybe now we'll say goodbye. I hate to say I like to make you cry, but I do. Yeah, I do. It's sad but true. I could be wrong, but I think you like it too. This makes it easier to say we're through. So turn off your goddamn Coldplay, 'cause I got something to say. Something I should have said long ago. Can't wait another minute. Gonna put a bullet in it and get it ready for the water show. I hate to say I like to make you cry. Yeah, I do. I could be wrong, but I think you like it too. Just makes it easier, easier, easier to say we're through.
Yikes.
Told them.
How called I do, that's right.
What made him so mad? He was such a nice guy.
Well, it makes me wonder, you got all the instrumentation down. You really do have an expressive voice. It is fun to listen to. And as a writer, I hear good writing.
Amen.
So do you consider yourself a poet? Do you consider yourself lucky that you can string the words together? Or are you a reader? Like, you are a good writer. Where does that come from?
Thank you. I do like to read. I definitely would not call myself a poet. I learned really about songwriting. I mean, stories are the important
Right.
thing in a song to focus on. Somebody just told me a great story about when Charlie Parker came down to the South with his band, and they go into a diner or whatever, and he would put on a bunch of country music, and his band was just like, why are you putting this stuff on? And Charlie would go, it's the stories, listen to the stories.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's really fun to get in there and try to tell a story. And I have been lucky enough that I've played drums with some of the great storytellers, certainly in Chicago, but anywhere, and have been able to kind of see the process and see how seriously they take it, and sort of some of the ways in which they could get to telling a story, some of the ways of a turn of phrase or sort of an overarching idea about a song. And it's been that's kind of how I've been able to sort of, to whatever extent.
Tell me how Chicago influences, and where it shows up in your songwriting, because I'm noticing something about your songwriting, but I want to hear if you say it first.
You better say the right thing.
I know. There's a lot of pressure, Kim.
City of the big shoulders, the meat packing.
That's it. All the blood and guts.
Al Capone, Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan really influences my songwriting. No,
Way to
That's
make that North Carolina connection. That's a good job.
That's right.
Excellent.
That's right. I don't. That's interesting. I've never stopped to think if Chicago influences my songwriting, other than just working very intensely and very closely with a lot of Chicago songwriters who, some are from there, some are from outside of the city, but everybody brings something really different and unique into the city. And so it kind of feels like, I don't know, that's a really good question. I think just there's such a healthy storytelling scene in Chicago. I mean, some of the great, John Prine and Michael Smith, and the folk scene is very important there, and it's and so yeah, I think just the tradition of trying to tell a story is very strong in Chicago.
So what I'm hearing is, so I'm part of the Poetry Slam community and have been since the early 90s. So I was there at the beginning. And one of the things that I've noticed over the decades about Chicago, and all my friends who live there and me when I was a writer there, Chicago is a place that it moves people to just say what is. And it's not a place of metaphor so much. I know that Carl Sandburg called it the city of big shoulders, but that's kind of where the metaphors end. And Chicago is a place that just says it. Here it is. And that's what your songs do. And I mean that as a compliment to you, because there's nothing hiding in your songs. It's right there. Like, I love to make you, I like to make you cry, and I like it.
Can't really interpret that any other way.
Yeah, and I'm really appreciating that about your songwriting. And I have to wonder if there's some Chicago influence in that, because I hear it among the poets. I hear it among the singer-songwriters. Gwendolyn Brooks was a lot like that. She was metaphorical, but she also, I had the pleasure of studying with her some, and she was pretty like, this is what it is. And as well as some of the, like Upton Sinclair, not a lot of metaphor there. So anyway, take a look at it when you go home.
There is an element of that I would say in just in general, in the Chicago music scene. It's very unpretentious.
Yep.
No one's there thinking that there's a label sort of sniffing around. It's not like New York, it's not like LA, which are both great cities and have great musicians, and great music comes out of there, obviously. But something about Chicago, people just want to create, and they
Yep.
just want to. It's not the driving factor isn't for something beyond just creating.
Just doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
just
I
need to do
I
that.
think
And
you'll
pushing it, yeah.
we probably have labels listening to us tonight. So I think you should play another song. I mean, I think the big time is listening,
They
don't
should
you?
be.
They
Yes.
should be.
Is David Geffen still
Probably. Hi, David. Good to see you again.
Again?
again? Okay, I'll do another song. Maybe I'll do another song from the new record. Let's see. Something upbeat or a bummer? What are you guys feeling?
Bummer, and then an upbeat to close out.
Bummer and upbeat to close
Why,
out. You got
what
it.
is wrong with you?
Okay, I'll play you the 6-year song. It's called Not Enough Gin. Already, right off the bat. Just hang tight, it's almost here. There's no guarantees for next year, except that it's not this one. At least it's not this one. Look around, to likely find the heavy hearts and the pantomime of all the old fresh horrors. Lord, the hollers, and there's not enough gin to drown away the memory of all that's been. and there ain't near enough brown to ready ourselves for what's coming down. But pass the bottle anyway and hold on. This can't be what you meant by change, just more flowers to arrange. No time left to borrow. Will we be here tomorrow? Well, stand your ground or on your knees. Tired platform for tragedies. The good book to the letter. Well, you've just gotta do better. 'Cause there's shells out around. Anywhere you strike a crooked sound. Can we make a brand new drum and a brand new rhythm of the membrane hum? Just grab a stick in each hand and hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Gerald Dowd, still live here in the studio. Gerald, we've got a section of the show coming up here in 10 minutes or so where we're going to play music from a playlist that you brought in. And kind of as a precursor to that, you've talked a little bit about storytelling and having a good story to tell. And I think we can all recognize that there's a big difference between having a good story to tell and telling a story well. Mm-hmm. And your songs tell a story well. And to Kim's point, you don't have a whole lot of fluff, not a whole lot of showing off, just here's the story. And you have some great hooks and not a lot of excess stuff. You're just giving the bare bones of the story and letting people fill in, which is what every songwriter should do, not giving too much detail. But I'm wondering if you could kind of give us some background into what it is that you listen to. What are those forces that kind of motivate you in what you're trying to emulate in your songwriting? When you come home at the end of the day, the house is empty, and you pour that glass of bourbon, and you're feeling a certain way. What music are you putting on, and why?
Boy, well, the first band that leaps to mind is The Band. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Levon is a huge influence on
great songwriter too.
Great songwriter, both my drumming, my singing, my songwriting. I mean, talk about telling stories. You know, that those guys were the best, and their presentation of it was the best, and their intense creativity and just. They're a wonder, and so I don't think you could ever go wrong coming home and pouring some bourbon and listening to The Band.
That's a good call. I might do that tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to some on the road. But really, I don't. That's a question I'm always stuck to answer, just because there's so much good stuff. as a drummer, I played a lot of jazz over the years, and so I'm a big jazz fan, and so put on a jazz record, which tells a story in a whole different way. Instrumental jazz can also tell a story in a wholly different way. So there's but yeah, I think if I had to pick one record right now, I would pick a band record probably.
So I think we've said it several different ways tonight. We really think you have a fantastic songwriting sensibility. Do you collaborate with others writing songs? Do you teach songwriting, or do you do these songwriting kind of rounds where people get together and there's a prompt and you just go off and write a song? Those sorts of things.
I have not done. I don't teach. I haven't done that kind of songwriter thing you described, but I have done some songwriter circles where people get up and a song poll or a round robin, whatever you want to call it, and have done that over the years. I don't co-write too much. However, that song I played earlier, that new song Skeleton Key, is the inspiration for that was a haiku written by a friend of mine named Jenny Benneman from the Chicago area. Do you know Jenny by any chance?
Don't know the name. Spell the name.
Bienemann. Jenny Benneman, and her husband Robin Benneman is also an incredible musician with his own records and songs. But she's been writing a haiku a day for years, and
cool.
And so she's also a great musician, as her records will attest. But she will reach out to songwriters and say, "Would you like to pick one of my haiku and let that be the inspiration for a song?"
Oh, excellent!
And so I've written now. I think I've done 4 songs of hers. So to me, that's a collaboration, even though we're not in the same room together.
Right.
I wouldn't have those 4 songs without her,
Yeah,
So
that's very much like taking a song prompt from a songwriters group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to make it make sense and trying to have it fit into the song. And so, yes, I do. I have co-written a song or 2 over the years, but really that's sort of the extent of the collaboration I've done recently, yeah.
Everybody, we are here enjoying our time, and sadly running a little short of time with our new friend, Gerald Dowd. Learn all about Gerald, geralddowd.com. People can buy your music out there.
They can. It's on the website. It's all over the place. Bandcamp.
Well, Gerald, we know you're heading tomorrow to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And so safe travels with that. We have time probably for 2 more songs, if you have 2 more you'd like to share.
Well, sure.
One long one.
Or one long one. Okay.
Inagata Devita.
Sing your American Pie.
That would fit right in. That's about a 9-minute song. We got 8.5 minutes. Yeah.
So 2 songs. Okay, so I'll play. I'm gonna strap on the old foot tambourine for this.
All
this
right,
last
finally.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, Kirk, to your point, I saw Iron Butterfly at the Olympics when the bomb went off. The bomb went off as they were playing that song. Just fun fact.
Appropriate.
1996. Good year.
Iron Butterfly was playing at the Olympics?
It was a side stage, way off on the side. Yeah, bomb went off, had to go home.
What a memory.
Wow. Okay.
We're not going to get into that. Now Gerald will only have 1 more song.
This ought to pick things up. No, it won't actually. We'll keep it real depressing. It's a song about drinking yourself to death. It's called Safe and Sound. I came on a snare crack, lightning on a haystack in the middle of June, and it all went up in flame. I should have seen it coming, radio humming that same old tune. I wish I could forget the name. You get up to fall down, and you do it again when you hit the ground. Sure seems far when you know that you're gonna drown. Drain another bottle, open up the throttle, and leave us in the rear view where we'll be safe and sound. hands, wrapping the glass with your wedding band. Hard to hold on when you can't even stand. All done talking, better get a walking. We already know that it's a long ways into town. 3 miles to go and 6 feet into the ground. Well, you're safe and sound, safe and sound, safe and sound.
Gerald Dowd live here in the studio. He's going to play us one more song to
One more
wrap this
quick
up.
one?
It doesn't have to be that quick. Somebody's phone
Sorry,
over there is
sorry.
happy. Was that you?
Sorry, I was.
You found your phone?
Well, I got something from my daughter. Just anyway, yeah.
That's your Amazon alert.
Hi,
Ding, ding,
Fuss.
ding, ding.
Hi, Fuss. How's it going?
All right, we got the strap-on kazoo now.
Yeah, I brought the kazoo, so I figured I should probably play it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is a song, another song from my new record. It's called Tulsa. Morning flight, everything went right, smooth from gate to gate. Got to the show and then they let us know that the headline act was late. Not a day over 18, and not the worst band I'd ever seen. But not good enough to help me forget where I ain't. The sun is hanging high and bright out on Guthrie Green. And no amount of okay light can outshine my Illinois queen. I don't need dog piss on my shoe to tell me something I already knew. Hey, Tulsa's great, but not as great as you. Woody, help me, I'm sinking fast. The oil in my tank ain't gonna last. Can you spot me a cord to help me get back to my baby? Now we're eating fancy food off of fancier plates. The owner thinks we're hip. The waitress couldn't do one thing right until she took that tip. Yeah, but that don't make me as blue as the day I up and flew. Yeah, Tulsa's great, but not as great as you. Horns. It's all fun and games, different faces and other names. The fact of the matter is I'm counting the minutes till I get home. Yeah, all in all, a pretty good day, so why am I feeling low down? There's a big white moon and soft white sheets, but you're in another town. Yeah, we could make this hotel bed sing, wear it down to its final spring. I say Tulsa's great, but not as great without you. I say Tulsa's great, there's no debate. Yeah, it's great, but it's in another state. Tulsa's great till it takes me away from you.
Gerald Dowd, y'all.
Learn more at geralddowd.com, and you're going to want to learn more. And Alejandro from Chile says, hello, good show.
Oh, thank you. Hello, Alejandro.
And y'all, this is the point of the show where we turn off the live stream, but don't go away. You can still keep listening. We're going to hear a playlist that Gerald brought in, all of his whatever music he likes to listen to, whatever motivates him, whatever he thinks you need to hear. But it's going to be at WHUPFM.org because we're going to turn off the live stream. So y'all live stream folks, get over to WHUPFM.org to catch the rest of the show. And Gerald, this is the point where you wave goodbye.